You know RollerCoaster Tycoon, right? The childhood classic, build coasters, keep guests happy, and make a tidy profit? Well, that's what the game thinks it is. Because what I found inside wasn't a theme park, it was a money printer. And I built it by exploiting one simple thing the designers apparently never planned for: real-world economics. I sank dozens of hours into breaking the game, purely in the name of science, to see how its business simulation actually holds up. We all remember designing coasters that violated several laws of physics, or hiring an army of handymen to clean up the consequences. But that was before I became an economist. Now it's time to look past the nostalgia and stress test the economic engine underneath. Is RCT secretly teaching good economics? Or is it just an amazing tycoon game with completely insane business logic? Across Reddit and YouTube, 4 big economic debates kept coming up. 1. The infamous umbrella strategy. 2. The zero price sensitivity for new rides. 3. Advertising that acts like an infinite cash fountain. 4. And food and drinks that follow no demand logic whatsoever. So, we ran hundreds of tests. Some of the results make sense, most of them don't. Let's get to it. Experiment 1. The economics of the umbrella strategy. Let's start with the mean. Umbrellas. If you've played the game, you already know where this is going. To test price sensitivity, we did a 2-part experiment. To represent the control arm, I let it rain 20 separate times with umbrellas priced at a reasonable $3. Every time the sky opened up, guests rushed to the kiosks, bought umbrellas, easy profit. Business as usual. Now the experiment. This is where things get unethical. I waited for rain clouds, opened the kiosk menu, and jacked the price up to $4, $6, $10, $15, $20, the absolute maximum. And even a nice guy $2 price just to compare. Every time, guests did the same thing. They complained, "I'm not paying that much for an umbrella," and then immediately marched over to buy one anyway. My cash register started singing.
Across 50 trials, the number of umbrellas sold was basically identical at every price point. Below $9, the demand curve looks kind of normal. After $9, it just explodes into nonsense. This isn't economics. This is extortion roleplay. There's no brand loyalty, consumer resentment, or "this park ripped me off last time, I'm never coming back." The game teaches a hilariously wrong lesson. When people need something, charge whatever you want. To double-check, we ran the same test on maps. That demand curve actually made sense. Demand collapsed at $4 and profits peaked near $2. So, the logic is in the game, just not for umbrellas.
Experiment 2. Price sensitivity of new rides. Next, the rides. We picked 3. Ferris wheel with a low excitement of 2.34. Crazy cabs with a medium excitement of 5.03. Dynamite blaster with a high excitement of 6.91. We ran each of the 12 pricing levels 5 times.
The results were better than umbrellas, but still weird. At very low prices, under $2, demand barely moves, which actually makes sense. Then, Ferris wheel demand collapses around $5, profit peaks at $4. That's logical. For medium excitement coaster, demand stays extremely high until $12, profit peaks at $10, which is generous. For high excitement coaster, it is basically the same story. Profit maximized at the highest price where demand still exists, which isn't realistic. And the game's cost structure is too simplified, almost no variable costs, so supply curves are perfectly vertical. Everything becomes inelastic by default, even when it shouldn't be.
Experiment 3. The advertisement infinite cash pool. Ah, yes. Marketing. According to the internet, it's basically a cheat code. Put money in, get more money out. So we ran 8 different spending levels, 4 trials each, and tracked visitor numbers 2 months before and 3 months after each campaign.
In the real world, advertising follows diminishing returns. You reach the easiest customers first, then it gets harder. But RCT The more you spend, the better each dollar performs. Marginal returns go up, not down. That is the opposite of reality. Now, to be fair, the absolute return on investment between $4 and $5 per dollar spent is surprisingly realistic, but the shape of the curve is completely backwards.
Experiment 4. The demand logic for food and drinks. The internet's claim here is that guests will pay anything when hungry or thirsty. So we set up a drink stall and a pizza stall in a high-traffic zone and ran 14 price points between $1 and $16, each tested 4 times.
Now, buckle up, because food and drinks are actually the worst part of RollerCoaster Tycoon's economics. Yes, worse than umbrellas, and umbrellas were already a hostage negotiation. Here's the thing. An umbrella is a semi-durable good. You buy it once, maybe keep it as a souvenir, whatever. Food. Food is not durable. Food is necessary to survive. In the real world, if park food gets too expensive, people do 3 things. 1, they eat less. 2, they conserve. 3, they bring food from home. But in RCT, the demand curves for food and drinks are basically perfectly vertical. Price goes up, and consumption barely moves. In some cases, consumption increased when prices increased, which is just completely backwards, and it keeps getting worse. Not only is demand perfectly inelastic, but supply is too a perfectly vertical supply curve. No capacity limits, no variable costs, no scaling. It's economically impossible. Even more outrageous, when we lowered prices below the default values, consumption sometimes went down. Yes, down. Cheaper food. And fewer people buy it. That's the kind of logic that would get an economics textbook thrown into a lake. RollerCoaster Tycoon might be a masterpiece of game design, but its food economics belong in their own horror genre. So what's the verdict? RollerCoaster Tycoon is one of the most fun, timeless tycoon games ever made. You get creativity, beautiful coaster design, park management, nostalgia. All of that still holds up. But as an economic simulator, it falls apart. Consumer behavior is unrealistic, cost structures are oversimplified, and the business logic doesn't reflect the real world. It's a fun puzzle, but not real economics. We still love it. Now we just understand its limits. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.